Hey guys, it's Hello Awesome with another book talk. Now you're probably wondering why I'm wearing a very huge cowboy hat. Well, that's because in this book talk I'm going to finally be discussing the fable book that I was going to tell you I was going to discuss, A Million Ways to Die in the West by Seth MacFarlane, and a novel by Seth MacFarlane based on a screenplay written by Seth MacFarlane and Alex Sulkin and Wesley Wild. Okay. So this book's main protagonist is a cowardly sheep farmer named Albert Stark. He lives in a town called Old Stump. His best friend's name is Edward, and Edward's girlfriend's name is Ruth. Now Ruth is a Christian prostitute. That's right. You heard me right. She's a Christian prostitute. Anyway, this book is hilarious. It made me chuckle at every page. There's not really chapters because it was originally intended to be a movie, and it is, and I've heard mixed reviews about the movie. I've heard that it's not exactly what you expected from a Seth MacFarlane movie, so I don't know what to tell you. I haven't seen it yet, so I'm not going to critique something I haven't seen. I'm trying to get this hat to balance, but it's just not working here. I look like a weird hat person. Here it goes again. Pilgrim. Anyway, so I'm going to read to you what it says on the back. This is when he fights Charlie Blanche, which is a guy you'll meet in the first chapter. Mild-mannered sheep farmer Albert Stark is fed up with the harsh life of the American frontier, where it seems everything and anything can kill you. Duels at high noon, barroom brawls, poisonous snakes, chlorine-infected drinking water, tumbleweed abrasion, something called toefoot, even a trip to the outhouse. Yes, there are a million ways to die in the West. The wild, wild West, and Albert plans to avoid them all. Some people think that makes him a coward. Albert calls it common sense, but when his girlfriend dumps him for the most infuriable guy in town, Albert decides to fight back, even though he can't shoot, ride, or throw a punch. Fortunately, he teams up with a beautiful gunslinger who is tough enough for the both of them. Unfortunately, she's married to the biggest, meanest, most jealous badass on the frontier. Turns out Albert has just discovered 1,000,001 ways to die in the West. So anyway, in the beginning of the book, it basically starts off with Albert Stark's fight with Charlie Blanche over the whose animal he ruined, whose animal's herd or whatever, or patch of land. And Albert, instead of fighting Charlie, decides to give him money and says, I'll just pay you back for whatever damages my sheep caused. And then, of course, he goes and talks to his best friend Edward and, says, this is stupid to fight because I would definitely lose. I can't shoot for shit. There's a lot of profanity in this book. And Albert's girlfriend's name is Louise, and she's beautiful. She is just a dream. She pretty much looks like Amanda Seyfried in the movie. She's very beautiful and very pretty compared to the other women in town. And what happens is he meets later on in the book after Amanda's character, Louise, dumps him for the guy from How I Met Your Mother. The mother's character, whose name is, I think, I already forgot his name, so inconsequential his name is. Let's see. Ooh, I don't remember his name. I'm wasting like 4 minutes of this trying to figure. Anyway, she dumps him for a guy with a mustache. All right, I think his name was something. Blah, I don't care. Anyway, so Albert goes into a deep depression about it, and he's very sad about Louise dumping him. He tries to win her back, but turns out he can't, so he plans to move away from Old Stump and go to San Francisco and just haul up there and probably meet somebody new. Even sell his sheep. He pays back Charlie so he doesn't kill him, and Edward and Ruth talk to him, and even Edward, he is a unique character. He's sort of like what he's described as in the movie, so they picked a pretty good Edward. And there's a madame of the whorehouse that Worth, the Christian girl, works at, and she's curious as to why Edward is with a woman that pretty much has 10 dicks in her per night, And Edward's like, oh, you know, her job is so interesting, she's such a hardworking person, and in the background she's just, you know, saying weird sexual profanities. It's just to this guy that's doing her with his rusty penis. That's pretty much the absurd humor you'd get in a Seth MacFarlane book that was based off a screenplay. Anyway, so later on in town, you pretty much encounter Anna and her brother, who's actually a gang member of what's his name? Not Charlie Blanche. His name is... Oh my god. I'm forgetting everybody's name, and I just finished this book yesterday. Clinch Leatherwood. So yeah, the deadliest gunman on the frontier. That's Anna's husband. And pretty much, she moves to town for a short period of time until Clinch can collect his gang members, and they'll come to collect her. Now, the frontier is a little bit messed up since girls get married at the age of 8 or 9 or 12, so they don't become spinsters when they're 13 or 14 or whatever. Yeah, it's the 1882 people, or 1886, so that's really weird. Anyway, so Albert becomes close friends with, of course, Anna, and she teaches him how to shoot a gun, and they pretty much end up getting closer and closer, and, you know, they go to the fair, they spend a lot of time together. She even fakes being his girlfriend when Louise and her new boyfriend come on by. I'm pretty sure his name is in here. I'm having such a tough time with this. Oh my god. Okay. Foy. His name is Foy Edelson or something. Yeah, Foy Ellison. That's his name or something. Foy, whatever. And him and Louise are together. Pretty much what happens is after that, Anna, she's a pretty brunette, and Albert pretty much doesn't know anything about her, but she keeps it that way for a while until Charlie Blanche comes to town, Clinch Leatherwood, and Albert finds out through Clinch going into the bar and saying somebody's going to die because one of Clinch's gang members, who's currently in prison for killing the pastor's son, saw Albert and Anna kissing, and pretty much they were starting to get real feelings for each other. And then when he brings in Anna and drags her in there, Albert realizes it's him, and he's like, oh god, I'm gonna die. And Anna and Clinch leave the bar, and Edward turns to Albert, and so does Ruth, and they're like, oh my god, Albert, you realize what you've done? And Albert's like, oh god, I'm gonna die. When he said somebody was gonna get fucked up, that somebody was him. So that's pretty much what happens there. And along that road, Albert runs away after Clinch and his gang members come to his farm to try to kill him. He hides under the sheep and just slowly tries to make his getaway with his horse, and his horse gets him away, and then he gets kidnapped by Indians in the middle of the night, and then becomes friends with said Indians, Apaches, and they teach him the skills that he needs to kill Clinch. And then Albert decides, after facing his nightmares and his dreams, his worst fears, that he was ready to go back and fight for Anna. Now, when he goes back into town, into the Thorough Bowl or whatever, the center of town where they have the gunfights, Albert was prepared, and he's like, okay, we each get one bullet to shoot each other one time, and whoever gets the best shot wins. And Albert goes first, but he misses Clinch and gets him only in the arm. And Clinch pretty much just laughs at Albert, saying, oh, ha, that was pathetic. And then he was about to lift his gun at Albert, and Anna was crying, saying, no, Albert, you have to get out of here. And then Clinch starts going numb, and he's like, what the hell is happening? And Albert tells him that he emptied the gunpowder in the bullet and replaced it with snake venom, a rattlesnake. And he pretty much shot him in the arm, and the venom was released, and Clinch died, and Albert won. And him and Anna got together. He got over Louise completely and had a happy ending. It was a really good book, and it was funny. It's a typical Seth MacFarlane joke. Like, literally, it's a funny story, especially with Edward. My two favorite characters are Edward and Ruth, because they're Christians, and she doesn't believe until sex before marriage, but she is a prostitute. So I don't know what she counts that as. Her and Edward finally have sex towards the end of the book when Clinch comes into town, so she figures since they're going to die anyway that they might as well, do it. And they do. And you see that scene in the movie where Edward's like, please don't kill us on sex night. It's hysterical. I'm going to watch the movie and tell you what I think about it, because the book was just entertaining as heck. I read the entire thing from cover to cover. And even some interesting information about Seth MacFarlane. There's a cute little thingy. I'll read it to you. It says, Seth MacFarlane is an animator, writer, producer, director, actor, and singer. He is the creator of the show Family Guy and the co-creator of American Dad, for which he also voices many of the show's various characters. He is the executive producer of the television series Cosmos, A Space-Time Odyssey. MacFarlane's film, Ted, is the highest-grossing original R-rated comedy of all time. And he is the co-writer, producer, director, and star of the film A Million Ways to Die in the West. As a singer, MacFarlane has released a Grammy-nominated album of American standards. Music is better than words. He is a graduate of the Rhode Island School of Design. So in that there, it has a little picture on him, a little side pocket, and that's his little bio. And there's also the same kind of bio, just about the author after Albert wins his gunfight at the end of the book, same bio. And pretty much the story is Albert gets also a reward for killing Clinch, and yeah, that's awesome. I think he did a good job there. Awesome for Albert Stark. Him and Anna Stark get married, so Anna marries Albert, and they get with the reward for killing Clinch, which is a whole new farm with 5,000 sheep. And the gift of a new mint bright outlook fueled by a woman's love. Albert Stark found that he was happy to live in the West. So pretty much from him being annoyed at living in the West, and saying, oh, this is how you can die, that's how you can die, he finally found happiness with Anna, and it's a really cute story, and I recommend you read it. A Million Ways to Die in the West. A Million Ways to Die in the West by Seth MacFarlane. I tip my hat off to you.